All right, hello everyone. Can you all hear me? If you can you type it in the chat bar? Yes, yes, perfect. All right. All right, you guys are all good, perfect. Oh, good. You're welcome, Kyle. All right, cool. All right, perfect. Then let me check a few more things and let me come on up there and say hi so you can see my face, everyone. All right, so I'm gonna run over here. So first and foremost, my name is Evan Herbert, so I will be kind of running this chat. For those of you, this is your first time, it's great to meet you. We're gonna have a lot of fun this evening. For those of you who are returners, it's nice to see you again. I'm glad you're back. Today we're gonna talk about housing with Lori Lambert. She works with Residence Life, so she's gonna talk to us about that. A couple of housekeeping things before we start, which is kind of funny because we're talking about housing.
Yes.
But make sure throughout the entire chat, make sure you type your questions in the chat bar. I will read them aloud after she is done talking. And then if you think of things, just keep typing them in. We'll keep kind of going through this. It's going to be really fun and really relaxed. So if you want to fully introduce yourself and your title, and then we'll get started with the presentation.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Evan. As Evan said, my name is Lori Lambert. I am the Director of Residence Life. I have been at Xavier for 27 years, which doesn't seem possible. I thought I would be here for 2 years and then gone, so I think that's a testament to the great place that Xavier is. I'm very excited to be talking to you tonight about on-campus housing. I think we do a great job of that here at Xavier, and I think that I'm just excited to welcome you to campus and tell you more about our facilities and our staff. So I hope to take about 20 minutes and kind of do a slideshow, tell you about campus, and then give you the opportunity to ask me any questions. No topic, off limits. You can ask me anything. I've probably heard it before. If you stump me, you get a prize when you arrive in the fall, okay? So the first thing I would like to do is to tell you about the Residence Life staff, the people who will be assisting you in your transition to the university. The first group that you might meet would be our hall directors, and these are master's level professional staff members who received their degrees in counseling or higher education administration. They're 23, 24, 25-year-olds who live in the residence halls 24/7 with our students. I think they're very special. I think it takes a very special person to do that, and they really do a great job of supervising the next group of our staff, which are resident assistants. These are students who have completed at least 1 year at Xavier, and they've gone through a rigorous selection process. They come back in August 2 weeks before your arrival, and they learn everything that we think they need to know prior to the start of school to assist you. They're there to tell you about resources, plan programs, hang out with you, point you in the right direction, and make sure you get the assistance you need. Also at Xavier, we have something that a lot of schools don't have. We have Jesuits in residence, and these are an additional adult presence who offer guidance and support for students who live in the building. We also have a central office staff, which consists of myself, an associate director, assistant director, residential systems manager, and we're there to support and guide the work of the hall staff, and we're also available to you to assist with any housing-related issues. I know many of you have probably been to campus and taken a tour of the campus, and others of you have probably been online and looked at all the available residence halls for first-year students. So I'm going to kind of breeze through this part pretty quickly and tell you about the 4 options that are available to you. The first building that is an option is Brockman Hall, and I would describe this as our traditional dormitory style residence hall where you walk down the hall to use the restroom. It's co-ed, and there's about 260 students who live there. I will tell you that quite often when I interact with alumni from the university, quite often they started out in Brockman Hall their freshman year, and they really got to know each other by walking down the hall. So a lot of people refer to it as the first residence hall, the freshman residence hall. The next 2 buildings are very similar. It's Coleman Hall and Hussman Hall. They're both set up suite style, and as you can see down in the lower right-hand corner, there is a diagram where it shows a big wide open space. That's one room. On the other side is a big wide open space. That's another room. In between it is a bathroom, and you'll see that there's a sink in either side. These are pretty popular because of privacy in the bathroom, and so I will tell you that Coleman and Hussman are 2 of our more popular buildings. We also offer in this building expanded occupancy triples, so if you're looking for a lower cost option, this might be something that would be of interest to you, and I'm glad to talk more about that later. Hussman Hall is another suite style building. It is all first-year students, and it's approximately 290 residents. We do have a few expanded occupancy quads. There's only, I think, 6 in the whole building, but it is all first year, and it's set up suite style. I know I've talked about the suites. I want to make sure that you know that we only allow you to pick your roommates in those 2 buildings. We don't allow you to pick your suite mates, and there's a good reason for that. If I deposited early, and that's how we do our assignments based on the date of deposit, if I did the assignments early and I deposited in November and I pulled in 4 people and you deposited in January, you might not get the building of your choice. So we try to limit the numbers. The 4th option is Banger Hall, and this is a mix of sophomore and first year students. There's about 215 who live in the building. It is set up suite style where you walk into a living room and then there's a bath and a half and 2 or 3 bedrooms, sometimes singles and sometimes doubles. Priority in this building is given to honors, some athletes, and our living learning communities. And I'll tell you more about that soon. For those of you who are transfer students who might be joining us this evening, we will work with you. You have the option to live in one of those 4 buildings I just talked about, but you also have the option of living in Fenwick Place, which is pictured there on the slide, as well as any of our apartment buildings. We will talk to you about your age, what you consider yourself to be a sophomore, junior, or senior, and then we will try to do our best to pair you up in the best location for you. We do have some special options for housing for the upcoming year. And that would be honors housing, living learning communities, theme communities, and then for students who may have special needs. As I said before, please make sure you realize that all housing assignments are based on the date that you deposit for housing. So if you haven't deposited yet, make sure you do that because it'll help you to get the building of your choice. Let's talk a little bit about honors housing. Honors housing is available in Banger Hall. If you are an honors student, you have the option to live there. You do not have to. Sometimes people will ask me, should I live there or shouldn't I live there? I typically say to people, do you want to spend time with the same group that you go to class with, that you want to live with? Some honors students say, I want to go to class with those folks, but I don't want to live with them. Others say, yes, that's really the type of community I want to be in. I want to be talking about my classes after class, and we can study together and things of that nature. It's really up to you. It's your decision. If you are an honors student and you select a roommate who is not in the honors program, you will be placed after individuals and groups that are all honors students. That way we can get as many honors students into that living learning community as we can. If we were to run out of space in Banger Hall for honors students, we would create a community in Hussman or Pullman for any students that we can't accommodate in Banger, because we still want to get you together. Another option, and this is our first year for this, is our living learning communities. We have 6 options where you will sign up for a class and then you will be placed in a living community where you will live with the same people you're taking this class with. We had a pilot project of that this year, and it has worked out beautifully. The faculty members talk about the fact that the interaction in the class is so much different. They notice that in most classes, people come in and sit in the same seat every single time. But in these classes, people really switched it up because they were familiar with everybody in the class and they felt like the dialogue in the class was much better. So if that's something you're looking for, if you're looking for an opportunity for increased interaction with faculty, this is a great opportunity for you. You will be able to sign up for that by registering for classes on May 1st through 12th. And on the class registration, you'll see LLC behind the class offering. That's when you select that. That means you go automatically into the living learning community. The one thing I will mention is if you select to live in a living learning community, if you select a roommate who is has not selected to be in that class, you will not be able to live together. So we will do the pairing and we will match you up with the other people who are in the community. This is so that we can really make sure that the community works and that everybody is invested in it. If you want to see more details about the classes that are being offered, there's one about zombies. I'm not kidding. There's really one about zombies. You have to go in to the Residence Life website, and then on the red box, you'll find out many more details and see the options. The second option that we have are theme communities. We have 2 opportunities next year, and theme communities are different from living learning communities in that they're not tied to a class. It's just people who have similar interests, but a faculty member is not involved in this option. The 2 opportunities we have for next year are the Global X Community. This is a way to learn more about the world, customs, and cultures as you will be exposed to programs and presenters through the community. This is a great opportunity for international business majors, those considering studying abroad, excuse me, or students just wanting to learn more about others. It's an opportunity to live in a community with American and students who are international. The other option is called Spark, and this is tied to the Xavier Center for Innovation. This is brand new, as the center just started this year. It's just a way for people to think about innovation as a new way of thinking. All majors can benefit from living in this community. For those students who have documented needs related to medical, emotional, or other issues, we ask that when you're completing your housing preferences, you select yes. We're going to ask you to give us a brief description of what the issue is, and then we will send you an email telling you the information that we need from your service provider. Please make sure you respond to that request in a timely manner so that we can make the appropriate accommodations for you. It's really important that your service provider is specific about your needs related to housing, not to classes, but to housing. We will review the assignments, a committee will do so, and then we will make the assignments based on the information you have provided. Amenities. What else can you expect to find in your residence hall? This is always a fun one. The Xavier custodial staff will come in to suite-style rooms in Bangor, Husman, and Pullman, and they will clean your bathroom on a weekly basis. They also, it's like the toilet paper fairy. They leave toilet paper. You don't have to provide your own. In Brockman Hall, the bathrooms are cleaned daily, so you don't have to worry about doing any of that or the cleanliness of the space. There are also social and study lounges throughout the buildings to hang out with your friends or to study if you need to get out of your room. There's a laundry room in each building. Xavier Wi-Fi is available in the building and outside the building, all throughout the campus. Vending, drinks and snacks are located in each building. We have kitchen areas for light cooking. This is not meant for you to cook every meal, but if you want to cook a special meal or bake a cake or do something like that, we have that space available for you. Satellite television service is provided. You just need to bring the television and the cord to plug into the wall. And we also have all-card access at the front doors 24 hours a day, so that you will swipe into the building, and others who don't live on campus cannot do that. We also have cameras in the lobby to provide an extra level of security. When you're living on campus, we really encourage you to be involved. We want you to be active in your community, not just sleep there and study there. The opportunities that we have to offer to you are the Resident Student Association and community councils. You can be a wing representative, or you can be an officer, a president, vice president, secretary, or treasurer within your building. It's a great way to get started in our residential communities. Another opportunity, and I love to put a great plug in for this, is resident assistants. Resident assistants are the folks who live on each floor and assist the students. It sounds like just what it looks like. They receive free room and board, but if you're doing it just for the money, it is not worth the money. When somebody at 3 o'clock in the morning knocks on the door and says, "I'm locked out, can you please help me out? We have tests the next day." So make sure you get to know your RA and see if that's something you'd be interested in. You can also be a member of our peer review board. For students who have been documented for violating a policy, we have a board that reviews the cases, hears the cases. So if you're pre-law, have an interest in criminal justice or something of that nature, this is a great opportunity to be involved. We also have a Residence Life Advisory Board that I meet with 4 times a year. I'll ask them questions about their living experience, and they will tell me issues that they're having with their living experiences on campus. It's a great opportunity. I enjoy meeting with that group. It's one of my favorite parts about my job. And then if you're not into being involved in a specific position like that, please attend the programs by your RAs and your community council. It's a great way to meet others in your building and to learn more about yourself and others. The next slide you're going to see are the rates for living on campus. We talked about the 4 buildings and the prices. Banger Hall, you'll see there's an option for a single bedroom. Remember, that's in a suite with 3 or 4 other people, or I should say 2 or 3. It's a suite of 3 or 4 total. Double bedrooms, and the reason those cost more is because you have the living room, there's a micro fridge unit, and a bath and a half. Hussman, Brockman, and Pullman, you have the option to request either a double, triple, or quad occupancy. I will tell you that the quads are very limited in Brockman and Hussman. Doubles and triples are plentiful, and we're glad to house you in any of those. I also like to mention the option for an expanded occupancy triple, which is listed as a triple above the $24.75. That's a reduction in cost between the double of $675 per semester, which works out to $1,350 annually. A lot of students and parents like that option to help reduce the costs. A couple of other notes of interest. I always encourage families to consider purchasing renter's insurance for personal property. The housing agreement that the student signed online does not assume responsibility for theft, loss, or damage, so it is strongly recommended. I will tell you it's very, very rare that you will need this. Probably the case where it happens most often is if there is a plumbing issue within the building. And sometimes it comes down one floor, and unfortunately that's the day that you left your laptop laying on the floor. You want to have renter's insurance to replace that. Okay? I will remind you the housing agreement is for your first 2 years at Xavier, so if you're a transfer student coming in as a sophomore, that means for your sophomore and junior year. If you're a first-year student, that means your first and second year. And the reason we do that is that Xavier research shows that students who live on campus are more involved, have higher GPAs, are more likely to stay at Xavier, more likely to graduate, and they're also more likely to donate back to the university, which is important to all of us. I will tell you that housing for juniors and seniors are not guaranteed. We do everything we can to accommodate the rising juniors and seniors, and we have been very lucky in doing that in the past. So I'd just like to give a heads up on that. So you're probably thinking, what do I have to do? Am I in part of the process that I need to be, or have I missed something? So you should have already, hopefully, deposited for housing. Once you make that $200 housing deposit, that locks in your date of deposit. From there, you will sign your housing agreement. And right now, you should be completing your profile, your first-year housing preferences profile. Please do at least the basics. There's a primary section and a secondary section. The primary section asks about your building preferences, it asks about your smoking preferences, and parents, please let the student fill it out. Too often you think they might not, you might have different preferences than they would have. And so it's best if they are filling this out on their own. That way we're making the match for the person that they are and not who you might think they are. Unfortunately, that does happen. Ideally, you will fill out the entire thing, not just the primary section, but the secondary section. That's asking you questions about studying, sleeping, hobbies, anything that you're really interested in being involved with. Some people say, should I find my own roommate? Because that's part of the next part of the process. On May 1, you'll be able to go on and look at other people's preferences and indicate who you want to live with. Should I do this or shouldn't I do this? If you are flexible, laid back, and easy-go-lucky, I'd say take your chances. If you really need to know who you're living with and you want to have some control over that, the process allows you to do that. So it's really up to you. I will tell you that about 70% of students select their own roommate. The other 30% let us do it. I'm not sure about the success of either of those. It's a study that we need to engage upon. I will say, please consider if you should live with a friend from high school or not. Sometimes that seems like a really good idea, but then you get here, and if the roommate situation doesn't work out, then you lost a friendship and a roommate. Sometimes it's better if you don't live with that person, and then you have two groups of friends. You can go to their room, they can come to your room, and if it doesn't work out with your roommates, you can swap and live together. As I said, May 1, you can start to select your roommates. We wait. Some people are wanting to do that right now. We ask that everybody waits because that's the national data deposit. So we want you to have the biggest option to choose from. In the past, we opened it earlier, and some of the people who deposited later were not having many people to select from, and that became problematic. So that's why we wait. Again, a reminder, you're only selecting roommates, not suite mates. And then the big drum roll. When will I find out who my roommate is and where I've been placed? That will happen in late June, early July, and that will be through your Xavier email and Road to Xavier. I'm sure that will be all over the place, and there will be a date. You will know when that's happening. Once you get your roommate, what should you do? Please make sure you contact that person. I get a call every summer. I've tried to contact my roommate. They won't return my call. Do you think they've looked at my Facebook page and they hate me? What's going on with that? People get really anxious. So please make contact. They just want to talk about, are you going to bring the fridge? Am I going to bring the carpet? One microwave per room. You don't need 2 fridges, 2 microwaves, 2 carpets. So you want to talk about those things. The other thing that happens in the summer is people do contact each other. They look at Facebook pages and they think, I can't live with this person. I don't know what I was thinking when I selected them, or I don't know what Xavier was thinking when they put us together. We do ask that you stay in that room assignment for 2 weeks. I will tell you that some of my best friends are people who I didn't like when I first met them, and we just want you to try it for 2 weeks. That's part of college, is getting to know people who are different than yourself. So try it for 2 weeks. If it doesn't work, then we'll help you, and we'll get you either to a different location or we'll get a roommate swap. One more page about roommates, because I know that is one of the biggest stressors coming to college, is who am I going to live with? We know that you spend a lot of time in your room. I will tell you the number one quality in successful roommate matches is flexibility. You should expect that it's not always going to go your way. Sometimes you want the lights on and your roommate doesn't. So you're going to need to work that out. It's really important that you come in with realistic expectations as well. I know that sometimes people think that they're going to end up being in each other's weddings. And sometimes that does happen at Xavier. In fact, it happens quite often. But it's important that you come in just hoping that you can live together. You don't have to be best friends. You don't have to go to every meal together. But can you live in the room together and coexist? And hopefully it's much better than that. And usually it is. But sometimes the best roommate matches are those where you live together. And that's it. It's all good.
I'm in my roommate's wedding in June, so.
Yes. Are you?
Yeah, I am. I'm one of his groomsmen, so fun time.
Very good. See? It's important that you have assertive and timely communication. If I was bugging somebody, I would want somebody to tell me. I don't ever want to be bothering somebody. So return that favor to your roommate. Additionally, we will be there to support you and assist you through any problems that come up. The first 2 weeks of the semester, all RAs will hand out roommate agreements, and that is just a series of questions about how you're going to handle situations in your room. It talks about things like guests, cleanliness, noise, studying, and use of my stuff. The big one. Did they use your stuff? The RA will review it, you'll talk about it, and please use that as a working document. That what you decide in September might not be accurate in February. So make sure that you spend the time up front and really have a good conversation. All right, the last page talks about having questions and needing information. Our website has a lot of great information, so please don't hesitate to go there. We have measurements, we have photos, we have room layouts. You'll see my name and my email address there, but also Sandy Schubert is our residential systems manager, and she can answer also most questions. So keep those handy and don't hesitate to contact us. I am ready for your questions.
All right, perfect. Make sure you all are continuing to ask questions throughout the entire time, but we have a good list here that I can start from.
Great.
So let me go back to the top. All right, so I was wondering if in double rooms, the beds are bunk beds or are they separate?
All beds are bunk beds. You can either bunk them or debunk them. It's up to you and your roommate.
Make sure you don't debunk them yourself, though. You let Res Life know, and they will do it for you.
Well, it's okay for you to do it yourself.
Is it? Okay.
It is okay for you to do it yourself.
Okay.
I will tell you that usually on move-in day, there's 20 people crammed into the room. Everybody pick up a corner. You can work it out.
Perfect. All right. What type of window coverings do you provide?
Mini blinds are available in each of the rooms. Sometimes I know students and parents like to put up curtains. The measurements are on our website for the windows. Try it that way. And again, you don't have to have that right when you arrive. You can come, get in, settled in your room, take measurements, and you can always run to Target, Sam's Club, or wherever you would find us.
All right, we have a weird question from Nathan.
Okay, awesome.
If you found a roommate, can you get a suite with this person, or can you not select this person as your roommate, like you already said?
You can select the person as a roommate, but not as a suite mate. So you can decide that you want to live in an individual room together, and then there'll be 2 other people placed on the other side, your husband or woman.
Perfect.
I hope that answers it. If not, ask another.
Yep, and then we'll go down.
Yeah.
What building will the LLC be in?
The LLCs will be in Bangor, Hustman, and Coleman. And we haven't determined which class will be associated with which LLC at this point. We want to see the numbers of students who sign up for it, the male-female breakdown. We know that if it's class of 15 and 7 are women and 8 are men, we might have to combine some of the LLCs to make one full living community.
Are the learning communities based on major?
They are not. They are not. They are a part of the first year seminar, and they are all across the board. We're talking about one with Harris. There's one about civil disobedience. There's one about healthcare, villains and anti-heroes, making good decisions, and reading the web. So there's lots of great opportunities.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, very cool.
Is the wireless signal strong enough in all residence halls to accommodate everyone, or do you suggest a backup method?
I would say, please don't bring a backup method. That typically, all that does is interfere with the system, and our IT folks will come to try to find you. They'll say, why are you messing with the system? So we have made enhancements in our Wi-Fi system over the past 2 years, and in fact, we just did an upgrade in Brockman Hall over spring break. If you come and you're experiencing problems, please let your RA or hall director know, and we will get in contact with IT, and they will come over and do kind of a booster situation.
And then can you quickly go down the breakdown of the residence halls? It says which halls have shared bathrooms between 2 rooms and which ones are communal.
Very good. Brockman Hall is the traditional building where you walk down the hall to use the restroom. That's our only building that is that set up. Hustman and Coleman have the bathroom in between the 2 rooms. And then Bangor Hall is the suite where you walk into the living room, and then there's a bath and a half, and then the 2 or 3 bedrooms. Again, look at our website. It's got the great breakdown in the layouts.
And then are quads and suites different?
Yes. Excellent question. There was a lot of confusion about that last year. So the suites where I talk about a room on one side, a room on the other, and the bathroom in between, we call those suites. Sometimes students refer to those as quads, and they go in and try to sign up. Those are really a room for 2 and a room for 2. A quad is one big room for 4 people. So we tried to put a description about that on our preference page. Make sure you read that and understand it. If you don't, please give us a call. I'm glad to go through that.
And then do you know where the housing profile is located?
Yeah, it's on the road to Xavier.
Yep.
Correct?
Yep. So literally everything from here on out should be on the Road to Xavier website. That is your friend. Get to know it. Check it at least once a week. Things will be happening from here until the start of school on that site.
The fun fact is, because I'm not an incoming student, I can't access it. So you're the ones who get to see it and go there and take care of it on your own.
And if you have trouble finding it, you can give me a call or email me, and I can direct you where to go. All righty. If I've been accepted into honors and want to be in Bangor, is there a way to indicate that in my housing preferences?
Yes. I think that might be on the... let me look real quick here. It's either on the primary or the secondary. I cannot remember where it is, but it's in there. And we will also get a list to verify that everybody who indicates that they're honors is actually honors.
Is it required to move out all of our belongings during any breaks?
No. Once you move in August, if you want to stay in that room through May, you are good. We do not require you to pack up. I know some schools do that. We are not that place. So come in, get settled. That'll be your home for the year.
How do we purchase the above desk organizers that I read about online?
Yeah, good. I'm glad you're looking at that
Mhm.
already. That's called a space maximizer unit, and a fun fact that was created by a Xavier graduate, Kara Cantner Barr. It's fun because when I was here as a hall director, she was a student, and so I always enjoyed meeting with her. When housing assignment, we give links to things such as a carpet, the space maximizer. There's a couple other things that we will send you links to.
Mhm.
That will be one of the things. You can go ahead and pre-order it. If you forget to do it that day when you move in, Kara will be on campus and you can buy them in person from her. But it's better to pre-order it to make sure she doesn't run out because they're very popular.
Mhm. Alrighty. Is it possible to rent a fridge and/or microwave?
No. We used to have a fridge rental program, but it got to the point where I felt like it was a ripoff. We were charging, it was like $85, and you can go buy a fridge pretty much for $100 and have it for 4 years.
Mhm.
Also, they were not in great shape. So we do not offer that. You can either find an upperclassman who is leaving, check with them, and they might give you a really good price. Or work with your roommate. Maybe you can split the cost.
All right. We would like to come to Cincinnati a few days before move-in date. Do you have the availability, or do you have the ability to store dorm room stuff?
No, we do not. Unfortunately, or fortunately for us and for you, our staff will be in training pretty much from 8 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. And being able to have staff there to assist you, give you your keys and your access, we just don't have the capability of doing that. Additionally, we're going to be cleaning and preparing your room right up until the day that you move in. We accommodate summer conferences and summer interns all summer. Our buildings are used all summer, so we can't give tours over the summer, and we can't allow you to move in earlier than the Wednesday early move-in. I know they're going to ask me the date, and I don't have the date off the top of my head.
I think I might, but we'll double check.
Okay.
So if you happen to get sick, is there a medical center at Xavier, or would you go outside of campus doctor? And also, do you allow coffee makers in dorms? Two very important questions.
Yes, very important questions. Yes, we do have a health center on campus with nurses, a doctor, and it's open 24. Well, it's not open 24/7. I lied. It's 8:30 to 5.
Yes.
But if you do get sick at night, the staff will be available. The residence life staff will be available, and we will work with the Xavier Police Department, who are trained EMTs, to determine if you need to go outside for assistance. And yes, you may have a coffee maker.
Perfect.
All
right.
Very important.
It is a very important question. I wish I had known that when I was a freshman.
Let me go back to the health thing.
Yes.
You will be paying a health fee, so there is no charge for you to take advantage of those services. When you go up there, unless you're getting a prescription, the services are actually free for health and counseling services. So I really encourage you to take advantage of it. If you're sick, go get it taken care of.
Mm-hmm. All right. Can the beds be lofted to have extra storage underneath?
We do not allow lofted beds. We used to allow it, and it caused a lot of damage to the beds themselves, as well as the walls and the hallways, and it was a lot of noise because people were out in the hall sawing and setting off fire extinguisher or setting off fire alarms, and the fire department didn't like that very much. So we do not allow that. We do have the bunkable beds, and that provides a lot of extra space, and they are adjustable height-wise, so you can either have them lower or higher, and you can slide a lot of things underneath that bed.
Can command strips be used on the walls?
Yes, and we encourage it. It's much better than duct tape or nails. The command strips seem to work very well.
This is an important question. Is there tech help for computer problems?
Yes, the help desk, which is located at the Honiton Learning Center, is available to students. They're very helpful. I call them, faculty, staff, and students all call them. And their phone number is just 745-HELP.
So that's one way. And we recently, with University Station, added a digital dock up there. So they're also on campus that you can use. So either one, whatever's more convenient for you. All righty. Next question. Is there a list anywhere of all the appliances / items that are provided in the dorms so we know what to bring and what not?
Yes. Pretty soon you're going to be getting information about Manresa, which is Xavier's orientation program. They will, on their website, they will have a link of things that you can bring or things that you shouldn't bring. So we don't want you to bring your dog or your cat. You can have a fish, but you can't have those items. You can't have an halogen lamp. There's a certain size of refrigerator that you can have, and anything above that is not allowed. So watch for the link to that. Again, it's not a checklist. You do not need to get everything that's on that list. You know what you need and what you don't need. But that's available. The other place to look is the student handbook, and it talks about what appliances are allowed and what are not allowed. There's a link to that on the Director of Student Integrity's website.
Okay. Are there any provisions to move out after 1 year?
Yes. If you are a local student and you want to live on campus for 1 year, but you think you want to move home for your second year, please contact myself or Sandy Schubert, whose information you had earlier, and we can do that for you. If you're further than 35 miles from Xavier, there is not that opportunity. Only if you're moving home will we make that exception, and we need to know about it up front before you move in for your first year.
Do the beds require long sheets?
That's a good question, and I get it a lot. We have a mix right now of short beds and long beds in our residential facilities. What I tell people is get the long sheets, that way you're sure that they will work. If you get a short bed, even the long sheet will work on it. So it's just, you're better off just getting them.
Okay. If there is a specific individual you have mutually chosen to live with, is it guaranteed that you will be roomed with this person?
If they have requested you. So if you get your housing assignment in late June or early July, and the person you thought you were going to room with is not the person that you're signed up with, please call them before you call us. Unfortunately, if the request is not reciprocal, we do not make that assignment. We think there's a reason that they haven't requested you, and those are probably the most difficult conversations I have. So I have to tell the person, please call your friend, they did not request you. So if you are reciprocal, we will put you together.
All right. Are central printers easily accessible, or should I bring my own?
We do not have printers in our residential facilities, but they are located at the Gallagher Student Center, which is pretty centrally located to all of the first-year buildings. In addition, there are printers in CLC, Smith Hall, I think. Gosh, I don't know. So it depends. If you're working on paper at 2 o'clock in the morning and you want to print out a rough draft and see what it looks like, do you want to run across the street to the Gallagher Student Center, or do you want to just print it out in your room? It's up to you. I would ask that if you do bring a printer that you put a hard wire between it and your computer. That really adds some stress to the Wi-Fi if you don't, so consider that.
To be honest, it's not as necessary as you think it would be. It's more a convenience thing than it is an actual necessary thing.
Yeah. A lot of students will do their paper, and then before class at 8 o'clock in the morning, they're running it.
Yep. Plus, all of our printing is free, so.
Yeah, it is.
Are there issues with noise level maximums, i.e. do RAs ask kids to listen to music only with headphones? What can you store at Xavier over the summer? What is the cost?
So what we say is that we should be able to hear the noise from your room 2 doors down during regular hours, not quiet hours. If the staff is walking around and can hear it upstairs, downstairs, or 2 doors away, we're probably going to knock on the door and ask you to turn it down. Our goal is that at any point, students can sleep and study in their room. That's really important to us. I will tell you that we have fewer noise complaints right now because so many people are using headphones, so it's actually worked out very well for us and for the students. So you'll figure it out. You'll be able to tell. Ask your RA, if you want to test it and say, I'm going to have my, more often than not, it's basketball games people are cheering for that call attention, or playing video games, that type of thing is more often the noise than the music. As far as storage, we have a Xavier student-run business called Campus Solutions, and it's just a great group of guys that I've been working with. They provide the boxes. They will come to your room and pick up your belongings. They will store them over the summer for you, and before you return for your sophomore year, they will have those boxes in your room waiting on your return. They have check out their website. I think it's campussolutions.com, but there's a link to it from our website, and you can see what they will do for you. I think it's great because it's a Xavier-run business, something that was started here.
All right. Do the quads only have one bathroom?
The quads in Hussman, again, and I'm wondering if there's a terminology issue here. The quad in Hussman is 4 people on one side and 2 people on the other side with bathroom in between. The quads in Brockman, you have to walk down the hall to use the bathroom. Suites, where it's 2 and 2, there's the bathroom in between. So that would be for 4 people both with the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that.
If you have an idea, as Lori said earlier, check on the website with each of the halls. It has a listing of it, and you can see the pictures, so you can get a breakdown of each hall. Which building has the all-card access to the rooms, Hussman or Coleman? I think it's Hussman still on Keys.
So
or is that changing?
Hussman's being renovated this summer, and so Hussman and Coleman will both have all-card access. Brockman also does. Bangor Hall will be the only building where we will not have all-card access to the rooms and the bedrooms. But that's coming soon.
Yeah, and for those of you who aren't aware, you need all-card access to get into your residence hall. Then you will need all-card access that you'll slide in to get into your room like a hotel. But also, if you were to lose that card, there's a 4-digit combination that only the student knows. So therefore, only you or your roommates can get in your room. So that's good.
Safety.
Yep. All right. Do most people bunk beds or leave them separate?
It depends on what other furniture, or some people will bring a chair and so the bunk beds work out better. Some say, I don't want the beds to be connected, I want them down. Some people do both during the school year, change it around. They get tired of being one way and they switch it around. So I don't know that I would have a breakdown of what people do. It's really personal preference.
Yep. All right, this is an interesting one. Do the rooms have ceiling fans? If not, can you install a portable ceiling fan?
No and no. Installing a portable ceiling fan would cause damage, and that would be problematic. A lot of students do bring a fan to blow the air around in the room, but in most of our buildings we have individual HVAC units that you can control the airflow. So I don't know that the ceiling fan is needed.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be nice, but it's not needed.
Yeah, I agree. How difficult is it to be an RA, and is there a lot of competition for this position?
Great question. This past year, we had 3 applicants for every one student who was selected. We're very lucky in that we have 64 RAs, and we had over 30 who wanted to return to the position, which I think says a lot about the job, that they really enjoy it and that they feel like they're helping other students. So it is competitive. I would encourage you to get involved in those opportunities that I talked about. Get involved in hall council, get involved in the peer board, get involved in our lab, the Residence Life Advisory Board. All of those things will help prepare you to be an RA and to get to know the RAs and the hall directors and the professional staff.
All right. Can you buy Macs through the bookstore, and do they load programs on them for a cost? And then also, since she missed the printer question, do you recommend bringing a printer or not?
I don't know about Macs in the bookstore, do you?
I do not. I know we used to be primarily Dells that you could buy to the bookstore. You can bring either. I would say it's about split as far as students who bring Macs and Dells. I don't know if we have a deal, though, with Mac. I don't think we do.
I think if we have a deal, it's with Dell.
With Dell, though. If we can check online. If you email me, we can check online. I can point you to the right place. Or if you know where it is and search for it, then it will show you as well. And then can you quickly recommend a printer or not?
Yeah, printers, I think it's a convenience if you want to have one in your room. You don't have to have one. Printing is free on campus and pretty readily available at the Gallagher Student Center and a couple of academic buildings on campus.
All right. Are roommates assigned for 2 years or 1?
They're assigned for 1. You get to select your roommate for your 2nd year. A lot of times it's the same person. You've done a good job selecting, or we've done a good job matching. But again, if it's not working out the first year, 2 weeks into the semester, you can make a change, and we're glad to help you with that. So don't feel like you're locked in. Too often I hear about people in spring semester who they've been in a situation that hasn't been good for them. And I wish they would have just come and let us help. That's what we're here for. We're here for the students. And I think a lot of times students think they're bugging us. We don't have jobs if it's not for you guys. So please use us. That's what we're there for. We have a lot of expertise, and we can assist you with this.
All right. When you are looking for a roommate, are there perks of living with someone from your major, and are there perks of living with someone from outside of your major?
I think this also comes down to personal preference. Do you want to be in the same classes and have the same faculty members as your roommate? You know, I have this Residence Life Advisory Board, and I was talking to a student about this, and she said, you know, I came in as an education major, and my roommate was a biology major. And we would talk about the classes that we were taking, and I became very interested in what she was doing, and I switched my major from education to biology. So for her, it really worked out to live with somebody different. I will tell you that a lot of time nursing students like to live together because it is a rigorous program and they can study together. That tends to be pretty helpful. The sciences, I think it's helpful. But again, it is personal preference. Sometimes it's better to live with somebody who's not in the same major.
All right. Are the dorms co-ed? If so, all separated by floors? Question mark.
Yes, the buildings are all co-ed. I'm trying to think. So in Brockman, Hussman, and Kuhlman, they are divided by floor or wing. So there's either an elevator lobby in the middle or you're up or down a floor. Bangor Hall, because they are set up suite style, most of the time they're going to be all the same gender on one side or the other. But depending on, there's times when it could be a male suite living next to a female suite. It's rare when that happens, but I don't want to say that it will never happen.
Okay, let's see. So someone missed the question about breaks, but during the summer, must students leave campus, or does Xavier allow students to stay during breaks?
So for summer, you can certainly stay and take summer school. In fact, a lot of people are doing that. Our summer school numbers are actually up for this year, which is great. It's a great way to get ahead on your studies, or if you fall behind for some reason, it's a great way to get caught back up. During breaks, the only break that we close for is the Christmas break, but our apartments don't close. So if you know somebody who lives in the apartment, you can stay in their apartment for free. If you don't have that option, we usually keep one building open. In the past, it's been Bangor Hall. I don't know if that'll be the building next year. And then we just ask you to find somebody there who will let you live in their space for the break. There will be an extra cost for that because we don't build that into your contract. We assume that most students are going to go home.
All right. Will Hussman have wall-to-wall carpeting, and do you recommend bringing a heater?
Hussman will not have wall-to-wall carpeting. None of our bedrooms have carpeting. Now, in Bangor Hall, in the living room area and the hallway, the hallway doesn't even have carpeting. The living room area has carpeting. But otherwise, all tile floors. We will sell carpets, and that'll be part of the information that we share with you. If you buy a carpet through us, it will be laid out under your furniture before you arrive on campus. It's a really great deal. Our ROTC students, they lift up all the beds and slide out all the furniture or the carpet, and you and your family don't have to do that. So when you get there and move in, you can just move in and you don't have to worry about laying on the carpet. There was a second part to that.
Yes. Do you recommend bringing a heater?
No, I don't. I will tell you that if anything, I think our buildings are too warm.
Yeah, I would agree.
Cool. So yeah, you should be fine. If you're cold, let us know, and we'll help you out with that.
Just bring more blankets.
Bring more blankets and dress appropriately.
And on that same vein, someone asked, is there air conditioning?
Yeah, all of our buildings are air conditioned. And again, there's the individual. You can't turn it on or turn it off, but you can address how much air is blowing.
And then if you were to live in the double, do you run the risk of sharing a bathroom with a quad?
Only in Hussman and only in 6 rooms. So it's very rare.
Where's the closest exercise facility? Is it next to the soccer and baseball field, or is there one closer to the dorms?
That is the closest. That is our recreation center. The O'Connor Sports Center is located between the soccer field and the baseball field on Victory Parkway.
And okay, is there a cost for campus solutions?
Yes. I don't know the breakdown for that, but if you go to their website, It depends. Do you have your own boxes? If you need boxes, they'll provide that. And it depends on what you're going to store. Are you just going to store a refrigerator and take everything else home? Are you going to leave boxes and a refrigerator? There's different prices. You can buy different packages.
Is there a bicycle storage outside only, or can you store a bicycle inside your dorm? If yes, where inside?
Okay. We don't have any designated area inside our buildings for bicycle storage. But if you have a tire that comes off, I've seen a lot of students who slide it under their bed if they want to keep their bike inside. We do have bicycle racks outside the building, and I have seen a lot of students with those, and I've even seen some people put some covers over them.
How is the housing assigned for your second year? Is it a lottery?
Good question. We just finished this process, and yes, it is a lottery. You let us know that you're returning to Xavier. Everybody enters a housing agreement, and for everybody who lets us know that they're coming, we will randomly assign a lottery number. So it's not by date of deposit or when you make your deposit. You don't have to make a deposit your second year, which is even better. Excuse me, but it is randomly generated, and if you have a group of people, whoever has the lowest lottery number, that's the number you use.
All right. If personal or small groceries are needed, hold on, I lost my spot. Or small groceries are needed, is there a store somewhere near campus, or do you need a vehicle?
There is a small convenience store in the Gallagher Student Center where you can buy milk, salads, some frozen foods. You've got Graves ice cream, toiletries, snacks, all of those types of things. But also the university runs a weekend shuttle where you can go to Target, Meijer, which is kind of a combination store and grocery store, and also runs to Sam's Club. So a lot of students take advantage of that. Additionally, a lot of first-year students have cars, and you just find a friend and they'll run you over to the local grocery store.
All right. Is Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, etc. available at a reduced cost at the bookstore if you do not have a Microsoft computer and you are using a Mac?
I wish I knew the answer to that question. I do not.
I believe for students there is a discounted price. Part of me wants to say it is free. I think I'm making that up, so I would have to double check that. If you could do me a favor and email me, I can make sure that I do double check that, but I believe there's a discounted price for students. Should we bring a vacuum for the carpeting?
You can, but you do not have to. And I hesitate saying this, but we have vacuums in each of our traditional residence halls. That you bring your all card down, you check it out when the RAs are on duty, take the vacuum up, and then bring it back down. We'll give you your all card back. The reason I hesitate is sometimes they get used a lot, so they aren't working. And so if you have your own, just a small one, just like one of the broom ones, that might be nice to keep in your room.
Correct me if I'm wrong, is the material of the carpet, though, easily sweepable, or do you require a vacuum, or how's the kind of...
It probably does need a vacuum.
Okay.
It's pretty good flush.
Okay. All right, and then on that same vein, is the carpet, can we purchase it through you, new or used?
We only provide it new. We don't provide any used carpeting. You could probably find some upperclassmen who would be willing to sell you their carpeting because they might not need it anymore. But we prefer to provide the new.
You may not want to buy some upperclassmen's used carpets anyway.
I think I'd go with the new.
Yeah. Is there any type of campus transportation to get to the grocery store, Target, etc.? We just answered that, but there are shuttles that run on weekends you can use. They go to different areas all around Xavier local neighborhoods. And that is free, if we didn't mention that.
Oh, and we also have the WE cars.
Yes, yes.
So through the Student Government Association, I don't know all the details. You can go online and reserve the car and kind of rent it for an hour or two.
And it's like $8 an hour, so it's pretty affordable for students. Really cool. That was something that was thought up by students for students.
Yeah.
So, all righty. Which dorm is considered the closest to the city bus stop?
I mean, Hussman and Kuhlman are connected, and Brockman is right across the street.
Yeah, they're all going to be a 5 minutes walk to the bus stop, if that.
Yeah.
So
there's not a discernible difference. They're all very close to each other. Check out a campus map.
Yep. And then if you were to make your housing deposit now, That would be incredible. Congratulations if you do. But end up committing to another university later. Oh, well, spoke too soon. Is it refundable?
That's your question.
So it depends on your major. So if you are a nursing or occupational therapy major and you have made a deposit, it is not refundable. If you have made it now, you have until May 1st in order to take that deposit back. After May 1st, they are non-refundable. Alrighty.
I learned something.
Yep. Are you considered an urban school?
Yeah, I would think so, yeah.
I would say so too. We are about 5 to 8 minutes from downtown Cincinnati, so we were just outside of the downtown area, but we are our own thriving little community, we're neighborhood outside of it, and then campus is it's kind of the best of both worlds, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, we're exit 5 on 71.
Yep.
Downtown is 1 or 0,
Yeah,
so we're very close.
All right. Is parking available close to the dorms? Can freshmen have a car on campus? How much does it cost?
Yes, freshmen can have a car on campus. The parking is relatively close. It's all around kind of where the Cintas Center is. So if you look at a campus map, you'll see where the residence halls are, where Cintas is. Actually, if you go to the Xavier police website, they'll identify where resident parking is. Also, they will also tell you how much the parking pass is because I don't know that answer.
It's about $135 per the year. So roughly.
Yeah. And Xavier's one of the few schools that does allow first-year students to have cars on campus, from what I've heard. So.
And that's, I mean, I paid more than that for my high school parking pass, so.
Yeah.
All righty. Do kids go downtown on the weekends to hang out?
Yes. Quite often, the Student Activities Council has events that take advantage of the downtown area, but also students, I know a lot of students went to the Reds game last night.
Yep.
Unfortunately, there was a rain, so it was still very late. But the university had acquired a bunch of free tickets, and students were going down and seeing the opening night game. But a lot of students just make it down there on their own. There's a lot to take advantage of. The Over the Rhine area, there's a lot of restaurants, clubs, the art museums.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of
There's a lot of things in this city. Yeah. So, all right. Hold on, I lost my spot. How long would it take to bike to downtown, or is it better to take the city bus? I don't know if I would recommend biking downtown. I do not know how long it would take. I guess it would depend on which way you go. It is about a 5 to 8 minute drive through the highway. But I guess it depends. I've never done it, so I wouldn't know.
I would take the bus down, and then they have the bikes that you can rent once you're down there if you want to bike around the city.
And you can also attach it to the bus as well. So
sure.
When do you reserve parking for freshmen?
I think you're able to do that online before you get here for the school year.
I believe in the summer, it's one of the next steps. We'll have an option to buy a parking pass if you would like. And then you will be able to park, since you would all be residents for your first year, you would park in any of the R lots. And then after that, there are specifically designed lots for commuters or depending on the residence hall that you live in for upperclassmen. Are tickets for major sports teams offered at a discounted price?
Yeah. So sometimes they're free, like I mentioned about the Reds game. It would be something to talk to the Student Activities Council about and express your interest that you would like to do that. I know last year they had tickets to the Bengals game. Typically our office sponsors opening week. We usually have an event where we take 6, 7 buses down, typically about 500 students down to the Reds game on a Friday or Saturday night. And we try to do that as much as we can.
Yeah. So, and that's for not just sporting events, that's for concerts, that's for shows, that's for orchestras, for symphony, whatever's in downtown. We oftentimes will get a group of students who will go either for free or at significantly cheaper prices. So
they even have a ski trip.
Yeah, we do Perfect North. We have a lot of things. All right, looks like we have a last question before we say goodbye. Or maybe 2 more. If you are taking out a loan but you're 17, do you need a parent to co-sign it? I would have to recommend that you double check with financial aid. I believe the answer is yes, but there are some things you can sign off on and waive and certain things like that. But I would recommend checking with financial aid. Thank you for all you are leaving. I'm glad this was very helpful. But we have one more question from Mike before we close things down. If I am still in the decision process, but I have already submitted my housing deposit, Should I still fill out the roommate survey even though I may not attend?
I would encourage you to go ahead and do it. I think it's a great way to get a feel for what we're looking for. And if you decide not to come, we will just remove your information from our system and we'll know not to make you an assignment. But we hope you come.
Yeah. So, and Mike, you should give me an email. We'll talk and we'll see what you're considering and why and what I can do to help you out. So, but all of you, I want to thank you very, very much for joining us. I want to thank Lori Lambert for coming here and talking to us about residence life. I hope this was helpful. If you need anything, please email either one of us. My information is on the website, so is Lori's. This will be posted on Road to Xavier. If there's anything you feel like you missed, then make sure you go there and check it out. But I want to thank you again all for joining, and I hope you all have a great evening.
Thank you.